Welcome learners to our today's lesson. We are going to talk more about soil conservation methods. Remember, we talked about soil pollution, and we talked about effects of soil pollution on plants and animals. How are we able to conserve soil? Learners, what is soil conservation? I'll start by asking or posing a question to you. Soil conservation is the ability in which you can be able to protect soil from losing its natural properties and its productivity. Remember, good soil should have what we call soil fertility. Soil fertility, the ability to be able to support plants. Plants to be able to grow well, up to maturity, give good yields. What are some of the ways in which you can be able now to control, to conserve soil? Remember the key word here is conserve. It means that we are protecting. We don't want it to be destroyed. So one of the ways is by controlled use of agricultural chemicals. Remember, we say that farming cannot take place without using chemicals. And remember that as the world is changing, so many diseases are coming up, and all the time scientists are doing research to come up with chemicals that are going to deal with these diseases. And as a farmer, the farmer should be wise when using these chemicals. And that is why we are saying controlled use of chemicals. Yes, use the chemicals, but do what? Control them. We are saying examples of agricultural chemicals include fertilizers. For you to be able to get good yields, you need to apply fertilizers, herbicides to control weeds, pesticides to control pesticides. And when you are going to use them uncontrolled, it means that these chemicals can lead to soil and having a negative impact on your crops. And this one is going to lead to what we call pollution. Another way in which you can be able to conserve soil is by proper disposal of waste. There are two types of waste here, learners. I want to make it very clear. There are two types of waste. The first one is domestic waste. Domestic waste is the one that we have it in our homes, the waste materials that we get rid in our homes. Then number two, there is what we call industrial waste. Industrial waste coming from the word industry. These are waste materials that come from industries. What are some of the ways in which you can be able to dispose waste? I'll use this word. In our homes, we say ways of managing domestic waste. How can we manage our waste at home? One of the ways of managing waste at home is by one, reusing. You have used a polyethylene bag. You have bought something from the shop with a polyethylene bag. This polyethylene bag, you can reuse it. You can use the same bag whereby you can be able to store your equipment, and by this one, you find it is not going to go back to the soil, whereby it's going to pollute the soil. We also talk of garbage collection. Garbage collection is whereby we have the local authority coming to your homes, picking up your waste. Is by recycling. Recycling, when you talk of recycling, you change this material from one form to another. Chemicals are added, the material is going to be changed to one form to another. Examples, these are our plastics. They can be collected, taken back to the industry, whereby chemicals are going to be added to them, then they change to other forms. Another way is by depositing them in pit latrines. Take an example of a broken glass. A glass that has been broken, the pieces, you collect them, put them in a pit latrine. Another way of managing our domestic waste is by reducing the generation. This is what we say, this involves wise choices when buying goods in order to reduce the amount of items to be thrown away. Make it the right choice. Make it the right choice to reduce materials from being thrown away. Another way, we said we have managing industrial waste. We are through with domestic managing domestic waste. Now we are talking about managing industrial waste. How can we be able to manage our waste from industries? One, there is what we call on-site treatment, whereby you are going to have a plant. This plant is specifically to treat these waste materials. Waste is treated and made harmless. It's made harmless at the industry, at the point where it is being produced. Another way is reusing. We are saying some industries use some products more than once, or for different function from the one it was made for. In commercial laundries, for example, the solvents they use, such as petrol to dry clean garments, is not thrown away. It is filtered and then reused. There's what we call recycling. Bottle making companies do not dispose of broken bottles. They are recycled to make a new bottle. Other companies buy waste paper and recycle it to tissue papers, such as toilet rolls, facial tissues, and salvates. Waste exchange program. What is this one we are calling waste exchange program, learners? What one industry produces as a waste may be a product, may be a raw material for another industry. This is considered useful. And for example, a manufacturer of furniture produces sawdust and wood shavings as waste. This could be used by a company that manufactures paper. We're also talking of treating hazardous waste, meaning harmful substances. There are new methods of treating hazardous waste to make them non-hazardous. The harmful pollutants are destroyed so that they do not pose any danger to the environment. Another thing is that substituting raw materials. This is a process whereby a raw material that produce harmful waste replaced with others that do not that are less harmful. Changing manufacturing process. We can change our manufacturing process if the process whereby it is hazardous or it is poisonous. We change the process and make it more or eliminate the waste that is going to pollute the environment. Another way is incineration, whereby we use those structures we call incinerators. This is burning of waste using machines such as incinerators and furnaces. Reducing its generation is another way. The best method of reducing waste is simply preventing its generation. For example, learners, the government of Kenya, 2 years ago, it banned the use of polythene bags in our country. And when you look around in our environment, at least you can say they have tried. The government has tried. Now we can put a smile on our faces because there is no litter of polythene bags all over in our environment. We go back to our methods of soil conservation. We had talked with about the first one, whereby we said, one, it's a proper disposal of waste. Now we come to the next one, avoid burning vegetation cover. You know very well, when we want to clear land for farming, we should slash, uproot unwanted vegetation, but we should not burn. When you burn, you destroy the organic matter. Remember, the organic matter is the humus, which improves the soil fertility. Mulching is another method of soil conservation, whereby we say mulching is the covering of soil with a dead plant, such as dry leaves, dry grass, and this prevents excess loss of water from the soil through evaporation. And it also reduces splash erosion, as we discussed in class 6. Planting ground cover crops. These cover crops, they bound together soil particles. Land should not be left bare. It is advisable to plant ground cover to avoid surface run of water carrying away the top soil. We also talk of terracing. Digging terraces along the contours and on slopes reduces the speed of surface run of water. This reduces the rate of soil erosion. The other one is contour farming. We say that we are supposed to farm along the contours. Remember, learners, back in our social studies lesson subject, we say that contours are lines that are joining places with the same height. So when a farmer is plowing or is farming, he is advised to farm along the contours, and this one is going to conserve the soil and reduce the rate of soil erosion. Tree planting. A year ago, our president initiated a project whereby we were supposed to plant trees. Trees are very important, and back in class 5 we know very well trees act as windbreakers. We know very well soil particles or soil layers are held together by roots of plants. So we are saying tree planting can either be afforestation or reforestation, whereby we know very well afforestation is growing or planting trees where they do not exist, and then reforestation is planting trees where they have been cut, and by doing this one we'll be able to conserve our soil. The last one, learners, is building of gabions. Gabions, we call them porous dams. They prevent gully erosion. These are methods that are used in soil conservation. Learners, the last one is proper stocking and proper grazing. We say that farmers should avoid overstocking. Overstocking is keeping many animals than a piece of land can hold. Then where is overgrazing, grazing on a piece of land for a long period than expected. You know very well this one is going to loosen the soil particles, and when the soil particles are loosened, what is going to happen? Soil erosion is going to take place. Learners, take supplementary books, get more points, add to what we have discussed about soil pollution, soil conservation, and you are going to get all the required information. Thank you.